There is background noise. I apologise, it's the kettle on. But I thought I would read some comments. It's Maddie, by the way, hi. It's the 20th of November, 2022, on a Sunday. Anyways, I thought I'd read some quick comments that I really appreciated. Just in case I don't want their story on the internet, I will just be using initials. Just in case they don't want their story on the internet, I will just using initials. So, R said, I totally understand, I'm having the same problems. And then I responded, I'm sorry you're going through this too, it truly sucks, I appreciate the support, smiley face. It really sucks that you were going through, this is on my video, post-impairment syndrome. Post-impairment syndrome sucks, basically, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's the older you get with cerebral palsy, the more issues you get, because your body's under so much strain. MT said, oh my god, I relate to this because I have CP, I know how hard it is, and you're so pretty, heart heart. And I said, thank you so much, sorry for my late reply, but I really appreciate you and the support, you're so kind. My reply was 2 months late, whoops. But I do really appreciate the support and their kind compliment towards my appearance, it was really sweet. And it sucks that MT goes through chronic pain, because the video is called Chronic Pain and Cerebral Palsy, and so it sucks that they go through cerebral palsy and chronic pain, and yeah. SR said, I have a mild form of CP, I was working as a nurse post-impairment syndrome, had a massive toll on my body and mobility went from walking unaided to single crutch. Then in 2020, needing a wheelchair full-time for me, I pushed my body to a point it wasn't coping with my nursing work. I am 32 now, can't work as a nurse anymore, my independence has gone downhill. They said that 3 months ago, and then on my post-impairment video, and then I said 3 months ago, I actually replied on time. Said, I'm really sorry that you went through that and you're still going through that. Post-impairment syndrome that comes along with cerebral palsy is beyond awful. The strain on the body from years of being pushed too hard. I think it is truly amazing that you worked as a nurse because that is no easy job, as you said. I'm sorry about your independence decreasing. Thank you for sharing your story with me. It is another perspective on post-impairment syndrome. I get worried about the future more and more because sadly the older I get, the more I have more struggles. This is exactly one of the reasons why I wanted to bring awareness for education, yes, but also so less people feel alone with it. I don't think I really need to expand. I think I've summed it up pretty well in that comment. This next person, TH, they sent so much, which I appreciate, but it is a lot to read, out loud. But to sum it up, they were having pains, and their healthcare provider was not paying attention to that because they were just saying, oh, it's just your cerebral palsy, it's just your cerebral palsy, it's just your cerebral palsy. They commented this on the post-impairment syndrome, but they said about how they were getting basically shrugged off because they have cerebral palsy, so they were like, oh, you got cerebral palsy, you're supposed to have pain, but it turned out to be another problem, and they just got shrugged off again and again and again, which is awful. Also, they talked about the healthcare system being crap, which is awful. And then I said, let's see if I said, I completely agree that there is not enough support for adults with and they also said there's not enough support for adults with cerebral palsy. I completely agree. I said, I completely agree that there is not enough support for adults with cerebral palsy and a lot of dismissing in the medical industry. Too many people slip through the net. I'm sorry about what happened to you and how you were treated. It is not right. Thank you for the advice. One of the reasons I made the video was, of course, to educate others, but also help others with cerebral palsy feel less alone and bring a light to the issue. Let me go down a bit. Somebody asked me, do you mind me asking, MM, we're going to call them, said, hey, that's my initials anyways, MM, it wasn't me, just to clarify, but I was just saying we have the same initials that I've given, said, hi, do you mind me asking what you find is the most difficult thing about having CP? And I said, they said this on introduction to my channel, and I said, hey, that's a question that has various answers. I guess practically, though, it is my mobility complications, which can be upsetting and frustrating. I would definitely have to do a video upon the subject, as it is hard to answer in just a comment without it being really long and potentially rambly. It can also be dependent upon the day and mindset I'm in. If it is a good or bad day for me with cerebral palsy, other people's attitudes can be hard to navigate. It is not an easy question to answer, but a good one to ask, smiley face. The most difficult thing about having cerebral palsy, besides the physical aspect, like the mobility, would probably have to be the misunderstanding, because you either get people that are like super supportive, but like this is the two bad sides to it. You either get people that are super supportive but like suffocatingly supportive. So like I once had a girl in my school wheel my wheelchair. That's very kind of you, except when I asked to go to the cafeteria, they were wheeling me around the school. Like, no, I want to take you here first, I want to take you here first, I want to take you here first. And it was very eager of them, but they were not respecting my wishes. Like, you wouldn't, if someone was walking, pick them up and lead them away from the cafeteria. So why would you steer a wheelchair away from the cafeteria? It's just not very fair. But you either get people that are over-eager, which is lovely, but sometimes cannot be so good. Or you get the people that are like, oh, you're faking it, you know, it's not that bad, you know, shrug it off. You get those two sides. You either get the like, or you get people like, for example, say I'm walking down the street. You either get the people that will notice it straight away and point out like, hey, why are you walking like that? Or you will get the people that are like, you don't look disabled. You know, you get those misjudgments a lot with having cerebral palsy. You get a lot of questions. You get a lot when it comes to cerebral palsy from society. So yeah, besides obviously the physical aspect, it would definitely have to be like other people's perceptions. Also, mental health wise, it can really get you down. Like, hold on, can't speak. There's a statistic about it. Cerebral palsy and depression statistic. Am I saying that right? Statistic. We found that adults with cerebral palsy had a 28% increased risk of being diagnosed with depression and a 40% greater risk of being diagnosed with anxiety compared with the matched population. That is from http://theconversation.com, little arrow thing, adults dash with cerebral dash palsy dash H, and it goes ... That's my reference, by the way, for my information. I read that somewhere and I was like, oh my god. Like, we have a higher risk of being diagnosed with other things, especially mental health wise, because it can be a lot. It can be a massive strain on my mental health. So definitely would have to say, obviously the mobility, other people, and my own mental health. Yeah, that'd be one of the most hardest things. I will definitely have to do another video on these comments because there is a lot. I'm not complaining, just it's going to be a very long video otherwise. Hold on, let me scroll for another one. Hold on. Okay, I will answer 4 of these questions because there's a lot, but I'll answer it like, yeah, I'll answer these yes and no and then probably go in more detail because there's a lot in one go. Number 1, how does CP affect your walking? Great question. My muscles are really tight and they tighten more than they should. And it means that it's harder for me to walk. Number 2, does it hurt when you walk? Yes, it does hurt when I walk. Can you walk alone? Yes, I can walk alone, but sometimes I use mobility aids to help me. Do you trip up much? All the time. All the time. Do you easily get blisters through walking? Yes, I do. I also have bunions, so I get blisters on my bunions if I'm not careful. Oh, that was all the questions they had. But I will go into more detail at some point, most likely. But yeah, I think... Oh, and then another comment said, we can all learn from this girl who speaks from her heart. Thank you, that's very kind. I will have to do another one of these videos, but I've wanted to do one for so long, and I thought if I don't start making one now, it's going to be forever since I actually get myself together to make one, knowing me. So I thought I'll just load it up now and make a quick comments video. But yeah, obviously I didn't use any names or usernames in case they did not want their thing on, like, you know what I mean? Like, even though they commented it publicly, and you could technically go see the comment on the video, I just didn't want it to be, like, directly say their name in a video if they didn't want me to. Does that make sense? But yeah, so I used initials, but I do really appreciate all the comments I get and all the support. I really appreciate it, and it means a lot to me, and thank you, honestly, thank you, and I hope that this space can provide some education, support for people so they feel less alone, be a safe space. I really hope so, and thank you guys for watching. I do honestly really appreciate it. Anyway, I am going to end the video here, but thank you for watching. Check out at Madeleine Munden -2 and subscribe, and have a lovely day.